This is the MGTOW Infinium here with another Infinium Short-Take. This Infinium Short-Take is entitled The Worst Simp Moment Ever. Now, my MGTOW brothers, as you all are aware of, we have these moments in our lives, these events in our lives which etch themselves upon the memory cells of our brain, such as the case that they are unforgettable. They also, these events, these moments, cause moments of profound introspection in our lives. And one of these moments occurred for me back in 2016 when I was just becoming aware of the MGTOW philosophy of what red pilling was, all of these things. Although I had long since red pilled, long since became a MGTOW. But again, this moment in my life caused a moment of profound introspection as I watched the events which I'm about to describe. It was on a hot mid-July day that I had gone out to check my business P.O. box and decided to stop by a nearby Sam's Club to look around for some items I needed for some personal use as well as business use. As I exited the Sam's Club, I heard a woman's voice very loud in the parking lot, far out in the parking lot. As I use the Sam's Club, it is a busy Sam's Club, so I tend to park far out in the parking lot to keep my car from getting hit and whatever. But I heard this woman's voice very loudly screaming about something in the parking lot. And she was midway into the parking lot. I was all the way on the other end of the parking lot, from what I could see. So as I walked out to my car, I passed by where the woman was screaming. And it turned out to be a woman who had, her inner bitch had emerged. And she was screaming and yelling at her man because he didn't do what she needed him to do. So there she was on a hot July day, shaming her man, screaming and yelling, telling him that he was a dope, he was an idiot. And he was there just standing there, and the look on his face was, yes, master. Yes, overlord. Now again, it was a hot July day. It was 100 degrees. And here she was having an image emergence. And all because her man did not load the food from the Sam's Club, the groceries from the Sam's Club, into their truck in her proper manner, in the proper way that she wanted it to be. So there she was screaming at her man, it's the meat. It's the meat. You don't put it in there like that. You're supposed to do it like this. You're supposed to do it like that. You're a dummy. You're an idiot. It's the meat. Don't you understand that? Yelling and screaming. And there he was with his face bowed down to the ground. Yes, master. Yes, overlord. I have failed, overlord. As I passed by, I looked in astonishment at the spectacle that was going on. And I stopped briefly just to look as she whipped her man verbally on a 100-degree day in the middle of July about groceries not being put into a truck properly. I continued on to my vehicle and got into the vehicle, sat in, turned on the air conditioner, and sat for a while, sat for about 5 minutes. All while this woman was just screaming and yelling at her man about not putting groceries into a truck properly on a 100-degree day. And my MGTOW brothers, as I sat in my vehicle, I had a moment of profound introspection because at one point in my life, I was that man. I was the simp. Indeed, I could be called the chief of all simps if you regard it that way. But because of the red pilling nature and the MGTOW philosophy nature, again, which I was just becoming aware of because it was about 2016 when this happened, I was now free from that. I was no longer the super simp. I was a man going my own way. And I sat there and watched the dichotomy of who I was as a man versus who that man was and where I had come from and the type of slavery, the type of bondage that I had come out of to where now I no longer consider being married, cohabitating with a woman of any value in my life. I no longer consider female validation of any value because I was a man going my own way. I felt sorry for that man because I knew what he was going into when he went home, because she would continue on and probably her and a bitch would become a super in a bitch when they got home. But again, it was a profound moment in my life because I realized that the MGTOW philosophy had indeed saved my life. And I was free as a man to go my own way and not have to endure anything like that in my life anymore. This is the MGTOW Infinium, and this has been an Infinium Short-Take. My MGTOW brothers, now more than ever, stay safe, stay strong, stay on the MGTOW path, and remember, MGTOW is the liberation of men's minds. MGTOW cannot and will not be stopped.